be advised that your belief system that tells you that the devil made Eve doubt God is not really true. That's not what happened here. You have been told in church, you've heard it on YouTube, you've heard it from different teachers and leaders and personalities and influencers. Don't doubt God, because that is Satan's biggest trick. That's what he did with Eve. No, he didn't. That wasn't the serpent's trick here. The serpent's trick was to get Eve to believe that God said something that he didn't say. You say, what, Christopher? What are you talking about? Look at this. Look, the serpent said to the woman, has God really said, you shall not eat of any tree of the garden? Well, that's not what God said. Let's have a look here what God actually said. God actually said, you may eat from every tree of the garden, but just not this one. That's all. That's Genesis chapter 2, verse 16. For those of you who are listening on the podcast, Genesis chapter 2, verse 16, God said, literally, you may freely eat of every tree of the garden, but not the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. That's all. So there's lots of positivity here. You may eat of all these trees. You can eat of any tree, just not this one. You see how the serpent turned it around. And he said, has God said, you may not eat of any tree? You see the trickery that's going on there. He's imposing that God said something that God didn't say. Now, God did not speak to Eve directly. God did not speak to the woman directly. God spoke to the man, and it was the man's responsibility to relay the word of God and to teach the word of God to the woman as God gave man the authority. And somewhere down the line, something happened here, as we're going to see here in just a moment. Because the serpent just threw Eve a curveball here. Verse 2, the woman said to the serpent, we may eat fruit from the trees of the garden. So it's not necessarily as strong as, what we get in, that you may freely eat of every tree of the garden, as what God actually said. So Eve did answer, but it wasn't as strong as it could have been. Eve says, but not the fruit of the tree which is in the middle of the garden. God has said, you shall not eat of it, you shall not touch it, lest you die. Okay, Houston, we have a problem. We read Genesis chapter 2. Where did God say you shall not touch it, lest you die? Where did God say that? It's not there. It's not there.